Ladies and gentlemen, we are back with yet another video of the Arizona Sport Fan. Thank you so very much for tuning in. I really do appreciate it, guys. So today we're going to go ahead and do a preview of the Arizona Cardinals versus the Cleveland Browns game this coming Sunday at 2:05 p.m. on CBS. Before we start this video, if you play fantasy football, David Njoku is playing. Put him in. Go ahead and roll that intro. Alright guys, thank you so very much for coming back. I really do appreciate it. Like I did mention in the intro, what we're going to do today is we're going to talk about the Arizona Cardinals versus the Cleveland Browns. So far, after this game, we're only going to have 2 games left in the season. I hope we can pull off a win here, but I mean, we'll see what happens. So for this game, there's just so many different storylines that are out there, whether it's Cliff Kingsbury versus the, Baker Mayfield and that whole situation that happened between them two. Kyler Murray versus Baker Mayfield. Steve Wilkes coming back to State Farm Stadium and trying to, show his dominance within his defense that he had. That didn't really work here, but I honestly really do hope that it lives up to the hype. But some things that we got to look out for the Cleveland Browns, my number one thing that they should look out for is their running back Nick Chubb. Now Nick Chubb is a big guy. He is ferocious while he runs, and he has some speed on him too. For being such a big dude, he can actually run the ball. So that's one thing that I feel like that they need to go ahead and keep an eye on. Is they're actually, now thinking about it, they have 2 people in the backfield that they should really keep their eye on. Now they also have Kareem Hunt. Kareem Hunt has been used very well, or at least in the past couple games that they've done. They did their best to make sure that Kareem Hunt is staying within the game and he is involved as well as Nick Chubb. So currently right now they have a 2 running back duo and Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt that we should definitely look out for. On the receiving side, they also have a duo there too. On paper, the Cleveland Browns have a really good team, stacked team. Talent on their team. So it's really mind-boggling to me that they are currently sitting at the record that they're sitting at right now. So the wide receivers that we should be looking out for are both of them, Jarvis Landry and Odell Beckham Jr. Now, Odell Beckham Jr., when he was traded to the Cleveland Browns, a lot of people thought that he was going to be the man. He was going to be the main man that Baker Mayfield throws the ball to all the time, and that's just not the case. I feel like he has more of a rapport with Jarvis Landry. Jarvis Landry is getting a lot more of the catches, a lot more of the looks. Everything's getting sent to Jarvis Landry, so I feel like he's number 1 on my radar that we need to stop. And then, of course, Odell Beckham Jr. being number 2 as far as being a wide receiver. Still an awesome wide receiver. Still produces really well. Now, my number 3 point, David Njoku is going to be playing this coming game. But the number 1 tight end that they have is going to be David Njoku. And within the past couple games that I can think of, I don't think we've really gotten burned so bad anymore as far as being a tight end. But I want to make sure that that trend does not continue. We need to make sure that David Njoku is covered at all times. Whatever he can do, he is really good in catching the football. He's a playmaker as well. He's just been riddled with injuries, unfortunately, so you don't really see him on the field a lot. But David Njoku is somebody that they should definitely keep their eye on. Now, as far as switching over to the Arizona Cardinals side, something that I want to see within these last 3 games is I want to see Kyler Murray pretty much just going back to how he used to play. He used to play, not including these last 2 or 3 games, the games that were before, when he was, scoring, when he was, throwing the ball down the field and making awesome completions. I want to see that Kyler Murray come back. I want to see him use his legs, maybe not so much horizontally, but sometimes really think about taking it up the seam and go vertically. And I think right now Kyler Murray is just going through a culture shock as to why he's not the fastest man on the field. Although he might be the fastest man on the field, he just seems super undecisive on where he's going. Settle down, get back to his roots, and come back to form. One thing I definitely want to see is Kyler Murray get back to that form. 2 that I want to see Christian Kirk back. What happened to Christian Kirk? Now, I get that we were playing, the Steelers and the Rams defense, which are, known as the top defenses that we have out there. But Christian Kirk has been silent. Complete silent. And what we need to go ahead and do at this point is we need to make sure that Christian Kirk is involved in the offense with the big chunk plays, with the, I hate saying it, but the wide receiver screens, but just get him involved because he can make plays, and if we can get him going, that basically brings up the whole offense. We need to make sure that Christian Kirk gets involved, as well as Andy Isabella. I want to see Andy Isabella a lot more out there than usual, guys. So Andy Isabella needs to be involved as well. Number 3. Now, I know a lot of people want to see Kenyon Drake. I feel like we know what we have in Kenyon Drake at this point. I know people want to see Chase Edmonds as well, and then what I want to see is what David Johnson has to offer. Now, at this point right now, I do not know what the front office is thinking. They recently went ahead and released Terrell Suggs. We've been releasing veterans like nobody's business. I really don't know what's going on in the mind of the front office, if it's Steve Keim's decision, if it's somebody else's decision. Who knows exactly what's going on at this point. But what we need to figure out is what we have in David Johnson. Is he worth keeping? Are we going to trade him somewhere? Are we trying to, make him look better? Because bottom line, if anybody's going to want to get David Johnson, he needs to get going. He needs to be able to run the ball. He needs to be able to catch the ball. Because at this point right now, if we ever consider to get rid of David Johnson, the only really thing I can go ahead and foresee us getting is a 3rd to a 4th round pick for him. Because his contract is so big and his lack of touches in production, most people are going to be scared, and most of the teams are going to be scared to even try to trade for David Johnson at this point. So I feel like we should see a little bit more of David Johnson, give him the ball more, have him catch the ball as a wide receiver. I've been saying this over and over and over again, and he has proven in the Steelers game that he can catch balls. He can go ahead and run wide receiver routes, and that's what Cliff Kingsbury needs to do in order to get David Johnson involved. Right now, our wide receiver core is not the best out there. We can't really cause separation. They just have a hard time getting separate from the cornerbacks that are out there. So if we can get David Johnson involved and be in the slot, or even some people might have said use him as a tight end. At this point, I'm willing to go ahead and try anything to get David Johnson going. So that's my 3 points of success. I want to see David Johnson going. I want to see Christian Kirk and Andy Isabella, and I want to see Kyler Murray get back to his form that he was before these last 2 games. Before the bye week. As far as what we had, I want to see him come back to that form, guys. So let me know what you guys think and what your keys to success are in this coming game. Drop a comment, drop a like, and if you're new, please consider subscribing, guys. That's all I got for this episode, guys. I'm out. Thank you so much.